claim that workers would be given the option to take early retirement packages. He says there's been no mandate given to talk about early retirement packages. The sports minister explained that government was in fact interested in introducing initiatives to manage the cost of statutory corporations and that discussions were being undertaken to examine the integration of the NSC, the Wildy Gymnasium and Kensington Oval Management Inc. He stressed that the proposed integration was still at a very early stage and urged employees not to panic. A close call for 3 people involved in a vehicular accident last night at Clifton Hill in St. Thomas. The crash occurred at about 20 minutes past 7, with both vehicles being extensively damaged. One of the cars was driven by 28-year-old Adrian Grosvenor of Lammings, St. Joseph. John Springer, a 60-year-old resident of Lakes, St. Andrew, was behind the wheel of the other car, and 43-year-old Kathleen Bell was his passenger. Now, according to reports from the Barbados Fire Service, all 3 of them sustained minor injuries and were taken to hospital for treatment. Barbados's main public sector union will be approaching government for salary increases very soon. After years of holding strain, the National Union of Public Workers says it will be seeking an increase in the new year. President Akani McDowell says it's time Barbadian workers receive their just due. The last public sector wage increase was in 2009.
There are a number of policy decisions that we are going to try to implement in the new year, and one of them is, yes, a salary increase for public servants. The information is now before the executive. It has to go before council for ratification, and once that is done, we will start the process of engaging government in negotiations. Yes, but a salary increase is definitely on the table for NUPW.
Mr. McDowell says they've checked out the matter fully and are satisfied government has the ability to pay the workers. His executive plans to seek the council's ratification to submit the proposals when it meets just before Christmas.
We don't do things haphazardly. We would have done our research. That was my instruction to my executive member, Sir Corey Beckles, who is really in charge of this process, and he would have put together some of the best minds in Barbados to determine whether or not we could afford a salary increase, and he has indeed said to me, yes, we can afford a salary increase, and that is the direction we are going in. We are going to ask government for one.
The Barbados Workers Union is summoning workers of Sandy Lane Hotel to an emergency meeting at its headquarters at Solidarity House on Monday. The meeting is expected to address a number of critical issues, including the recent negotiations between the BWU and the Barbados Hotel and Tourism Association. It follows reports in some sections of the media that Sandy Lane workers could possibly not benefit from recently announced wage increases all other hotel workers across Barbados will receive. BWU General Secretary Tony Moore and Deputy Director of Industrial Relations Dwayne Paul are expected to speak about the 8% wage hike for hotel workers announced recently by the BHTA. Sandy Lane workers can attend either a meeting at 9 in the morning or another at 5 in the afternoon. Barbados has been urged to go further in its position on the death penalty and the rights of the lesbian, bisexual, gays and transsexual or LGBT community. The appeal comes from Michael Barford, the European Union's ambassador to Barbados and the Eastern Caribbean, as he spoke broadly on human rights issues. But he was quick to say that the EU's appeal is not linked to its provision of financial assistance and support to Barbados and other countries in the region.
Let me make it clear that the EU is not linking any of its actions or its aid to this, which is a question that I was asked before. We don't do that, and we never will. In the situation we're in the Caribbean right now.
With respect to the death penalty, he lauded government in moving forward legislation to remove the mandatory death sentence for murder convictions, but he's lamented it has not yet been passed.
Step forward, and I really would like to commend the government for that. The problem is, of course, that the bill is still postponed, and that is something that we would like to have sped up if possible. We are very keen that the next step is taken as well, which is, of course, the moratorium on executions. And ultimately, the goal is clear, and that is to see that Barbados simply abolishes the death penalty.
And as for the local LGBT community, he said he was pleased to see the community is able to raise its concerns in the media, but he still wants to see more being done.
We feel that it shouldn't be so difficult in a country as tolerant as Barbados, because Barbados is quite tolerant in this area compared to many other neighboring countries. That a country as tolerant as Barbados should not basically start to take care of the issue of discrimination against LGBT and move away from anything that smacks of a homophobic situation in society.
We'll have regional and international news next. Stay with us.